Welcome back to another episode of Charge Collective, the podcast that's here to help you become the best version of yourself through teaching health, wealth, and happiness. We've got 2 episodes that we do weekly on the podcast now. We've got our Tuesday format where I jump on here and just break something down that I've learned over the past week. And then we've also got our Friday morning format as well, where me and Jimmy Esler jump on here, and that's more of a long sort of format between 45 minutes to an hour where we jump on there, we talk about different things that we've learned over the years, then also try and give you guys some takeaways that we think are working well in our lives that you guys can take away with that as well. So without any further ado, let's jump into this week's podcast, this Tuesday podcast, and it is on Go Fast Alone or Go Further Together. And the reason I got this title for this podcast is over the weekend on Saturday I crewed Claude, but I also helped out with Geordie, 2 of my best mates, running the 105 kilometre race through the Guzzler, which is out through Mount Cootha. And it was just such an awesome weekend. So I really walked away with there, just having such a sense of purpose about how much a great community can just make you feel so good and also help you become the best version of yourself. Geordie ended up winning the race and Claude came 5th, which is just a massive effort from both those boys. But I really wanted to talk about the people that were there and how much of a difference I sort of felt like it probably did make, even though both those guys could have done it themselves, but I always feel like it definitely makes a difference seeing them come into checkpoints and then also seeing them leave, helping them see their familiar faces and pushing them along there. So there was a few people that I saw that were doing it by themselves, which was pretty impressive. Like they had their own drop bags throughout the course, which I just feel like is just crazy, especially for a race like that. But yeah, hats off to them guys that do it by themselves. And I feel like when you've got a crew there pushing you that bit further, you know that they're there all day. We were there for 12 hours supporting both the boys, and you sort of feel that little bit of a fire sort of lit up inside you to perform that little bit better. And I think leaving that, I just was just so proud, and just the team with Geordie, Stu was crew chief for Geordie, and Stu done such an awesome job. It was really cool to see how well Stu done. I've crewed Geordie before, and it was like he made Geordie just turn into a whole different person. He was so relaxed. Whatever Geordie wanted, Stu was all over it. Stu between checkpoints was running around picking up different stuff, and it was that whole day was made for Geordie. And then with Claude, Jess was crew chief for Claude, and she done such an awesome job looking after his nutrition, and she was just so organised. Every checkpoint she had the little itinerary of, okay, how much further to go, how far to the next checkpoint, what items he even wanted, did he want his sunnies, did he want his earphones, what did he want there? And it just made for a really good day where both the boys had such a stellar performance, and it just come down to that teamwork. So I wanted to just break down why I think you need a strong team around you and you need strong people in place to become a better version of yourself. And I think we look at all the greats and it's so easy to think that they've done it themselves, but you look at people for example, one great example of that is Michael Jordan. You look at him and you see Michael Jordan, the individual player, and he'd done all those scoring records and everything like that. But behind the scenes for Michael Jordan, he had someone like Tim Grover, who I've got his books behind me on this on my bookshelf. And Tim Grover himself is such a relentless winner. And after he was Michael Jordan's one-on-one personal trainer for 25 years. And Michael always said, he's I pay you not to train me. He's I pay you to train nobody else, because that's how much I value you. So when you look at stuff like that, even the best of the best, they always need that person in their corner that's going to hold them accountable and become the best version of themselves through that. And I think that's one thing that I've really started to value a lot more now is people around me that are going to call me on my bullshit. If there's something that I might not want to be doing and stuff like that, even if it's in a cheeky way, they might be oh, what are you being a pussy and stuff like that. The one thing that really stands clear for that was last year at Lululemon, the run day for More Than a Run. There's a 10K option, a 30K option, or a 60K option. And leading into that, I was just going to show up and do 10Ks, and because I really wasn't running that much at all at that stage. And the day before I rang Geordie, I was oh, are you coming down tomorrow on that? And he's oh yeah, he's are you even going to run? You're not even running much lately. And he's oh, you just walk around and support people. And like that was enough just to like light a bit of a fire in me. And I was like, oh, well, instead of doing 10, I'm going to go and do 30. And then like I'd done 30K with Claude and that, and he was pushing the pace. And I was like, for me, I hadn't run in a couple of months, and I was just like, that 30K just broke me. And it like sort of really lifted me up to a level of like, oh, I've been telling myself I'm not running much lately, but here I am, like I come out there and mentally I can just go and smash out a 30K and do a really good 30K. So I was super proud of myself with that. But that's also because I got people in my corner that are going to call me on my bullshit and make a bit of fun of me if I don't try and be my best version of myself. And even for me, like I look at stuff like when I do my Ironmans, when I do my Ironmans and my half Ironmans, I've always had the best team around me. Like, and it's real easy for me to say, like when you're doing it, like, oh, it's all me, like I'm the one doing it. But there's no way that I could have got those achievements done without having like the awesome support crew behind me, like my parents and my family and Tay and her parents and just like all my good mates as well that are always like so, like they're always behind me, and everything that I do, they just like jump on board with that. So that makes like a massive difference to me when you think it's such an individual thing, but when you know people are there always supporting you, that makes a massive difference. And then, yeah, I feel like when you build that crew around you, you feel more inclined to like go on a challenge and go and become the better version of yourself. Like when it's a real solo mission, I think, sure, you do get a lot of growth out of that, but then once you put it out there and you say to people and you get people involved, it becomes a real team effort. And I think that's where the joy in some of that stuff is. It's like, it's all well and good to have a memory for yourself, but if you can have a memory where you talk about that with people for the rest of your life and how much like you can have a laugh about what you might have done or even what they might have done during it, that's where the real fun is, and the real memories of life are made through with other people. So I want to like sort of help you guys get a bit of an idea on why having a strong team around you does help and how to find and build that strong community around you. So for me, I sort of left a bit of a space where I wanted to grow myself, and I knew I sort of come out and I'll stop drinking and everything. And for me, I just like didn't really have anyone around me that was that next level above to sort of like help grab me up and go and do those hard things. And I really, for me, I learned a lot of podcasts. I listened to a lot of podcasts at that stage of my life where I was changing from drinking to non-drinking to doing more sports, like more fitness activities like that. And for me, that was a way where I literally felt like my closest 5 people were people I was listening to podcasts about. And I just didn't really know how to grow in that stage either with people face to face. I was very shy at that stage. And for anyone listening, I would really encourage you guys to just go and start putting yourself out there. So when you decide you want to start making these changes, go to new run clubs, go to new community groups where you sort of feel so out of control, and you really get there and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here, and it's so out of your comfort zone, because that's where you start to learn and grow a lot as a human. And you never know, like someday, like you might rock up to somewhere where it feels really silly to get there, and you leave there and you're like, oh my God, like I think I've just made a lifelong friend. For me, like I look at stuff like even when I went to my first there was a place when I lived in Canada, there's a place called MacArthur Tri, and they just used to do like a little mini tri, and it was like, I think it was like a 500 meter swim, maybe a 20K bike ride and a 5K run. And I was like literally just around the local pools in Macquarie Fields. And I got there and I knew like no one. I'd hardly ever swam in a pool. I'd hardly ever ridden a bike. And I was like a decent runner, but like I wasn't that good of a runner either at that stage. And I remember I rocked up there and like my first thing that I said, because I'd started like, my head was just like filled with all these people doing Ironmans and everything. And the first guy I spoke to, I was like, oh, like, is there anyone here that like would be able to coach me to do an Ironman? And it was just like by chance that the guy I was speaking to was like the local coach there. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I could probably help you. He's like, but have you done any triathlons or anything before? And I was like, no. He's like, well, look, he's like, there's a half Ironman coming up. He's like, why don't you like, I'll coach you to do that. And Dave was like one of the biggest reasons why I ended up going from the half Ironman, and then he helped me do my 100-kilometer run. Then after that, he then trained me to do my 36 half Ironmans in a row. And I just look at stuff like that and I'm like, if I hadn't have got out of my way and when I put myself in an uncomfortable position, that opportunity never would have arose, never would have came to. So always try and look for other ways to go and meet people, because you never know when that opportunity might come that you meet that lifelong friend, or that person that's going to be in your corner for the rest of your life. And it's not always going to happen, and you might have to go to 50 things before you even have a connection with one person. But going to those events and putting yourself out there, you're 100% more likely to meet someone than sitting at home doing it by yourself. And then when you get those people around you, that really builds that tough skin of, you're never allowed to let yourself take a back step, because all your friends are going to call you when you're bullshit. So go and put yourself in those uncomfortable rooms and be really open to meeting new people, talking to new people. And then also just putting yourself out there. I know with social media at the moment, there's run clubs everywhere. There's always people running. And I know we've probably all got a little influencer or someone that we really like to follow or whatever. Feel free to reach out to those people over and over again, because maybe one day you might be able to meet up with that person and you might be able to have that face-to-face interaction, which can be also really cool as well. And yeah, so to wrap that all up, we're talking about going fast alone, and you always go further together. So make sure that you're consciously reaching out for people that are above you to sort of come and give you that idol to reach up to. So for the action list, go and reach out to as many people as possible, join the event you've been avoiding, and then back yourself to go and find your people. I think we're also scared to probably break away from old friendships that we've had, because we're it's just comfortable. But just be willing to go out and break yourself down a little bit to go and meet those new people. And we're all trying to become the best version of ourselves, so you've got to surround your people that want you to become the best version of that too. Because if you surround yourself with people that really get jealous of you going to do new things, they're always going to bring you down. They're always going to want you to stay on your level. So make sure that you've got a crew of people that are around you that want to uplift you and want to see you become the best version of yourself. That's it for today, guys. I really hope you take something away from that. If you did, share the potty. But yeah, I'd love to see you on the Friday podcast with me and Jimmy. It'll be a lot more down to earth, just two blokes having a chat, telling us a bit of our life stories. But till then, have a good week, guys. Love yous.